Maybe this feels familiar. You look at her and all you see is contempt in her eyes. The woman who once adored you now looks at you like you're a burden, like nothing you do is good enough. You try to talk to her, but every word feels twisted, dismissed, or met with that cold silence that cuts deeper than any argument. If this is you, you know the sting. It's not just disrespect, it's humiliation. It makes you question yourself. Am I not enough? Did I do something wrong? How did we even get here? You replay the moments in your head. When did the love turn into bitterness? When did admiration turn into disdain? You remember the early days when her eyes lit up when she saw you, and now all you get is eye rolls, sarcasm, or worse, indifference. And deep down you wonder if she even regrets how she treats you, or if she even cares at all. But what if I told you contempt doesn't have to be the end? That there's a way to flip this dynamic, to make her stop in her tracks, rethink everything, and regret the way she's been treating you. Do you want to know how? Most men get this wrong, because the moment she shows contempt, they panic. They argue, they beg, they try to explain themselves, or worse, they try to prove their worth to her. But that only feeds the fire. Every time you chase her approval, you reinforce the very behavior that's destroying the respect between you. Here's the truth most guys never hear. Contempt doesn't end by fixing her. It ends by standing firm in yourself. A woman loses respect when she feels you've lost your center, when you put her above your own self-worth. The core masculine principle is this: you never trade your dignity for her validation. The moment you do, you stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. This isn't about being cold or cruel. It's about calmly showing through your actions that you will not tolerate being treated with disrespect, that you value yourself enough to set the tone. And ironically, it's when you stop seeking her approval that she starts to question her behavior, reflect on her actions, and feel the weight of what she's been risking. He sits at the edge of the bed, the glow of the lamp casting a weak light across the room. She walks past him without a glance, phone in her hand, the sharp sound of her heels on the hardwood echoing like small hammers in his chest. He remembers when her touch felt like warmth, but now, even her silence feels like rejection. His jaw tightens. How did I get here, he thinks. When did her smile turn into sighs? When did her eyes start looking through me instead of at me? He wants to say something, but he already knows how it will go. A sarcastic laugh, an eye roll, words that cut deeper than knives, followed by a cold silence that leaves him feeling smaller than he's ever felt. He stares at his hands, remembering the times he bent over backward to please her, buying flowers, saying sorry for things he didn't even do, giving more and more while receiving less and less. And still, nothing changed. If anything, it only got worse. Why is it that the more I give, the less she values me? The room is so quiet now that he can hear the clock ticking on the wall. Something shifts in him. For the first time, he doesn't feel like begging or chasing. He feels something stronger, calm, steady, almost heavy. He realizes he doesn't need to prove anything to her. Not tonight. Not ever again. Across the room, she looks up, expecting the same old response, but instead she's met with silence. His silence, not the silence of defeat, but the silence of a man who has finally drawn the line. And for the first time in a long time, she feels it, the weight of what she's been doing. The flicker of regret in her eyes is small, but it's there, and he knows in that moment everything has changed. One of the biggest false beliefs men hold is thinking, if I just love her harder, if I give more, she'll finally appreciate me. But the truth is, the more you abandon yourself to win her approval, the less she respects you. Love isn't about overextending yourself until there's nothing left. It's about standing firm in who you are. Respect always comes before affection. Another false belief is, if I explain myself enough, she'll finally understand and change. But explanations don't create respect, boundaries do. A woman doesn't lose contempt because you talk her into it. She loses contempt when she sees that your self-worth doesn't bend under her moods or her tests. She didn't lose interest, she lost respect. She didn't ghost you, you disappeared from yourself. The 3% man doesn't crumble when contempt shows up. He doesn't chase, beg, or argue for validation. This is what he understands. A woman's respect is earned by how you carry yourself, not by how hard you try to please her. He knows that when he loses his center, He loses her admiration, and when he stands firm, calm, and unshaken, she feels it. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure. He doesn't need to control her, convince her, or compete for her approval. He simply lives from a place of grounded self-respect, and that energy alone shifts the dynamic. She realizes she can't push him off balance, she can't manipulate his sense of worth, and that's when her contempt begins to crumble. The 3% man understands that strength is quiet, boundaries are powerful, and dignity is non-negotiable. And instead of trying to force regret out of her, he embodies the kind of man she can't help but regret mistreating. It happens in a quiet moment when the noise in your head finally burns itself out. You're sitting there, staring at nothing, replaying every cutting word, every dismissive glance, every moment you tried to earn back what was already slipping away. And suddenly a thought rises. Not loud, but steady. I don't need this to prove who I am. It's strange, almost disorienting. The pain is still there, but beneath it is something deeper, something you had forgotten. You remember the man you were before, the begging, before the doubt, before you started twisting yourself into knots for scraps of respect. You remember the strength in your chest, the fire in your eyes, the simple truth that your worth was never hers to give or take. And in that moment, the grip loosens. You stop waiting for her to change, for her to see, for her to regret. You realize the regret will come not because you demanded it, but because you chose to rise back into yourself. It feels like standing up inside your own soul again. No anger, no pleading, just calm certainty. And that's when everything shifts. Because you finally understand you were never here to chase her approval. You are here to remember your own. The moment you choose your dignity over her approval is the moment she feels the weight of losing the man she could never replace.